What is today? National Creative Ice Cream Flavors Day is observed every year on July 1st and celebrates imagination and innovation in ice cream making. Instead of sticking with traditional flavors like vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry, the day encourages people to try unusual and inventive combinations. The holiday falls on the first day of July, which is also the beginning of National Ice Cream Month in the United States. What is today? Have you ever forgotten a birthday, missed an anniversary, or completely blanked out on something important? If so, you're definitely not alone. In fact, there's an entire holiday dedicated to those memory lapses. It's called I Forgot Day, and it's observed every year on July 2nd. The day was created as a lighthearted way to acknowledge that everyone forgets things from time to time. The holiday was founded by Gay Anderson of DeMotte, Indiana. According to the story behind the day, Anderson became known among family and friends for forgetting important dates, including birthdays and anniversaries. Rather than becoming upset about it, she decided to create a holiday that embraces forgetfulness and encourages people to laugh about it. She even began celebrating missed occasions on July 2nd instead. Of course, forgetting things is a normal part of being human. Stress, lack of sleep, busy schedule, and distractions can all make it harder to remember important information. Scientists have even studied something known as the doorway effect, where people sometimes forget what they were thinking about after walking into another room. I Forgot Day isn't just about laughing at mistakes, it's also a good reminder to make things right when we've forgotten something important. Maybe you missed a friend's birthday, maybe you forgot to return a phone call, or perhaps you've been putting off a task you've meant to complete for months. This holiday encourages people to acknowledge those oversights and take corrective action. One popular way to celebrate is by setting up reminders for important future events. Smartphones, digital calendars, sticky notes, planners, and reminder apps can all help keep important dates from slipping through the cracks. Another interesting fact about memory is that experts estimate that short-term memory can typically hold around 7 items at a time, and only for about 20 to 30 seconds unless the information is actively remembered. So the next time you forget where you left your keys or realize you missed an important date, don't be too hard on yourself. That's exactly what I Forgot Day is all about. July 2nd serves as a reminder that nobody's memory is perfect. Mistakes happen, and sometimes the best thing we can do is laugh, apologize when necessary, and try again. And hopefully, unlike many people, you'll remember when I Forgot Day comes around next year. What is today Drop a Rock Day, celebrated every year on July 3rd. This unique observance encourages people around the world to paint rocks with positive messages, creative artwork, or inspiring words, then leave them in public places for others to discover. The goal is simple: spread kindness, hope, and sense of community through small acts of creativity. International Drop a Rock Day was founded in 2015 by the Word Rocks Project and is now supported by both the Word Rocks Project and the Kindness Rocks Project. Each year, organizers promote themes and encouraging messages that participants can incorporate into their rock designs. The holiday brings together thousands of people who share a common mission of making someone else's day a little brighter. The concept may seem modern, but decorating rocks has ancient roots. Humans have been creating artwork on stone surfaces for thousands of years. Ancient cave paintings and pictographs served as ways to communicate stories, ideas, beliefs, and important information long before written language became common. In a way, today's painted rocks continue that tradition by sharing messages that connect people. One of the most influential figures connected to this movement is Megan Murphy, founder of the Kindness Rocks Project. Her idea began with placing rocks carrying uplifting messages where others could find them. What started as a simple act of kindness eventually grew into a worldwide movement that has inspired countless people to create and share positive messages. Participating in International Drop a Rock Day is easy. First, find a smooth rock, then paint it with a colorful design, an encouraging phrase, or an inspirational word. Once the paint dries, many people seal their artwork to protect it from the weather. Finally, place the rock somewhere others might discover it, such as a park, walking trail, community garden, or public gathering space. You can also celebrate by going on a rock hunt. Many communities have groups dedicated to hiding and finding painted rocks. Discovering an unexpected message of encouragement can turn an ordinary day into a memorable one. At its heart, International Drop a Rock Day reminds us that kindness doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. A simple painted stone created with care and left for a stranger to find can inspire a smile, offer encouragement, or remind someone that they matter. What is today? Have you ever wondered where the term hillbilly comes from? For many people, the word brings to mind old stereotypes from movies and television, but National Hillbilly Day, observed every year on July 4th, is intended to celebrate the culture, traditions, and heritage of Appalachian communities rather than the stereotypes often associated with them. National Hillbilly Day honors the people of the Appalachian region and recognizes their contributions to American culture. Appalachia stretches across 13 states and is home to roughly 26 million people. The region is known for its breathtaking mountains, strong family traditions, distinctive music, traditional crafts, and deep connection to the land. The history of this observance dates back to the 20th century. The idea originated with the Ozark Mountain Jubilee, a radio program that helped popularize the term hillbilly during the 1930s. The show became a television program in 1955, and eventually National Hillbilly Day was established in 1971 during a festival in Bentonville, Arkansas. The event was originally created to help raise money for the city's first library. Historically, the word hillbilly referred to people who lived in the rural mountain regions of Appalachia, particularly in Kentucky and West Virginia. Over time, the term developed both positive and negative associations. While it was often used as an insult, many people have reclaimed it as a symbol of hard work, independence, resilience, and self-reliance. One of the biggest goals of National Hillbilly Day is to challenge misconceptions. Popular culture has often portrayed Appalachian people through exaggerated stereotypes. In reality, the region has a rich cultural history that includes bluegrass music, folk storytelling, woodworking, quilting, and generations of skilled craftspeople. When discussing Appalachian culture, it's impossible to not mention Dolly Parton. Born in rural Tennessee in a one-room cabin, Parton grew up in the Appalachian Mountains and went on to become one of the most successful entertainers in American history. Through her music, philanthropy, and literacy programs, she has helped bring positive attention to the region and its people. National Hillbilly Day is also an opportunity to learn more about Appalachia itself. The Appalachian Mountains are among the oldest mountain ranges in the world, and the region has played an important role in American industry, music, and history for generations. generations. Despite this, many people know very little about the communities that call these mountains home. At its heart, National Hillbilly Day is about appreciation and understanding. Rather than focusing on outdated stereotypes, the day highlights the values, traditions, and accomplishments of Appalachian communities and the people who have helped shape a unique and enduring part of American culture. What is today? Have you ever stopped to think about the humble mechanical pencil? It's a tool used by students, artists, engineers, architects, and writers around the world. While it may seem simple, the mechanical pencil has a fascinating history and has helped millions of people create everything from classroom notes to detailed blueprints. While it may seem simple, the mechanical pencil has a fascinating history and has helped millions of people create everything from classroom notes to detailed blueprints. That's why every year on July 5th, we celebrate Mechanical Pencil Day. Mechanical Pencil Day honors one of the most practical writing instruments ever invented. Unlike traditional wooden pencils, mechanical pencils provide a consistent line, don't require sharpening, and can be refilled with new lead when needed. Their precision and convenience have made them a favorite for generations. To understand the mechanical pencil, we first need to look at the history of pencils themselves. The earliest pencils appeared during the 1500s after graphite deposits were discovered in Europe. Early versions were little more than graphite sticks wrapped in string. Over time, they evolved into the familiar wooden pencils we still use today. The first true mechanical pencil was developed in 1822 by Samson Morden and John Isaac Hawkins in Britain. Their invention included a mechanism that advanced the lead, eliminating the need for constant sharpening. This innovation was a major step forward and eventually inspired the development of the modern mechanical pencil. One of the most important figures in mechanical pencil history was Tokuji Hayakawa, a Japanese inventor. In 1915, he created the ever-ready sharp pencil, a design that became extremely popular. In fact, the invention was so successful that it inspired the name of the company we know today as Sharp Corporation. Modern mechanical pencils come in several styles, including ratchet-based, clutch-based, and screw-based designs. They are available in different lead sizes, with 0.5mm and 0.7mm leads being among the most common. Those options allow users to choose the perfect balance between precision and durability. Mechanical pencils remain especially popular among artists and technical professionals because they produce clean, consistent lines. Architects use them for drafting, artists rely on them for detailed drawings, and students appreciate not having to stop and sharpen their pencils during class. There are even collectors who specialize in antique and vintage mechanical pencils. Some enthusiasts search for rare models that are more than a century old, turning a simple writing tool into a fascinating hobby. One fun pencil fact is that a single traditional pencil can write approximately 45,000 words and be sharpened about 17 times before it is used up. That's a lot of writing from one small tool. Every time you board an airplane, there's a team of highly trained professionals working behind the scenes to make sure your flight arrives safely. Most passengers never see them, and many rarely think about them, but air traffic controllers play one of the most important roles in modern aviation. That's why every year on July 6th, the United States observes National Air Traffic Control Day, a day dedicated to recognizing the men and women who help keep the skies safe. Air traffic controllers are responsible for directing aircraft both in the air and on the ground. Their job is to prevent collisions, manage the flow of air traffic, and provide pilots with critical information during every phase of a flight. From takeoff to landing, controllers are constantly monitoring aircraft and making decisions that help ensure passengers reach their destination safely. The need for air traffic control developed as aviation became more common during the early 20th century. When aircraft were first introduced, relatively few planes were flying, and pilots mostly relied on visual navigation, but as passenger air travel expanded, the risk of accidents increased, creating the need for organized systems to manage the growing number of aircraft in the skies. One of the most important figures in aviation history is Archie League, who is widely recognized as the world's first air traffic controller. In 1929, at Lambert, St. Louis Field, he directed aircraft using simple flags to signal pilots. While his methods seem basic today, his work laid the foundation foundation for the sophisticated air traffic control systems used around the world. In the early days of air traffic control, controllers tracked aircraft positions using blackboards, maps, and pilot reports. Over time, technology transformed the profession. Direct radio communication allowed controllers and pilots to speak instantly, while radar systems gave controllers the ability to track aircraft in real time. These innovations dramatically improved aviation safety and efficiency. Today, the United States operates one of the most advanced aviation systems in the world. According to the observance information, the Federal Aviation Administration employs approximately 14,000 certified air traffic controllers who collectively help manage more than 45,000 flights every day. Their work requires intense concentration, quick decision-making, and an exceptional understanding of aviation procedures. National Air Traffic Control Day itself was officially established in 1986. Senate Joint Resolution 188 created the observance to raise awareness about the United States national airspace system and to encourage Americans to express gratitude towards air traffic control personnel. President Ronald Reagan officially proclaimed the day, and it has been celebrated each year since then. Think about it for a moment. Thousands of airplanes may be in the sky at the same time, carrying millions of passengers. The reason those flights operate safely and efficiently is because air traffic controllers are carefully coordinating their movements every second of the day. What is today? I've been to a few of these. Is it the worn bar stools, the dim lighting, the regular customers who seem to know everyone who walks through the door? Every year on July 7th, Americans celebrate National Dive Bar Day, a holiday dedicated to these unique neighborhood establishments and the culture that surrounds them. The observance was founded by Seagram's and honors the classic American dive bar along with its famous 7 and 7 cocktail made with Seagram's 7 Crown whiskey and 7-Up. Despite the name, dive bars are often cherished local gathering places. They're typically known for their affordable drinks, unpretentious atmosphere, loyal customers, and decades of history. Unlike trendy bars that come and go, dive bars often develop strong connections with the communities they serve. But where did the term dive bar come from? According to the history behind the observance, the word dive was originally associated with drinking establishments located in cellars or basements. People would literally dive down into these hidden spaces. The earliest known use of the word in this context appeared in an 1871 edition of the New York Herald. Dive bars have a fascinating history in the United States. Many traces of dive bar culture can be connected to the Prohibition era between 1920 and 1933, when the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcohol were banned. During this time, illegal drinking establishments known as speakeasies appeared across the country. Even after Prohibition ended, many of these small neighborhood gathering spots remained an important part of local culture. Interestingly, dive bars weren't always viewed as cultural icons. For much of their history, they remained outside the mainstream. That began to change during the 1980s when movies such as Barfly and Blue Velvet helped introduce dive bar culture to larger audiences. Suddenly, the places once viewed as ordinary became symbols of authenticity and local character. National Dive Bar Day itself began in 2018 and has since become an annual celebration of these enduring establishments. The holiday also highlights the importance of preserving local history and community gathering places. Seagram's has even supported preservation efforts through partnerships with organizations such as the National Trust for Historic Preservation. If you've ever visited a genuine dive bar, you've probably noticed a few common traits. They're often older than many of their customers, filled with stories from decades past, and packed with regulars who treat the place like a second home. Some are brightly lit, others are surprisingly dark, but nearly all of them have a unique personality you won't find anywhere else. Of course, you don't have to drink alcohol to appreciate what dive bars represent. For many communities, they're gathering places where friendships are formed, stories are shared, and local history lives on. What is today? What food instantly reminds you of summer? For many people, it's the colorful freezer pop. Whether you called them freeze pops, freezies, ice poles, or something else, these frozen treats have been a summertime favorite for generations. That's why every year on July 8th, Americans celebrate National Freezer Pop Day, a holiday dedicated to one of the simplest and most nostalgic snacks of all time. National Freezer Day was created by Gel Cert Company in 2020 to celebrate the joy and nostalgia associated with freezer pops. The observance encourages people to cool off during the summer heat and enjoy a treat that has been part of countless childhood memories. But what exactly is a freezer pop? A freezer pop is a flavored water-based frozen treat that is typically sold in a plastic sleeve. Unlike traditional ice pops that are already frozen when purchased, freezer pops are usually sold as liquid and frozen at home. This makes them easy to transport, store, and sell, helping keep costs low and making them accessible to families around the world. Freezer pops come in a huge variety of flavors. Popular options include cherry, grape, orange, lime, banana, and blue raspberry. Their bright colors and refreshing taste have made them a summertime staple at backyard cookouts, pool parties, and family gatherings for decades. The story of frozen treats actually goes back more than a century. In 1905, an 11-year-old boy named Frank Epperson accidentally created what would eventually become the popsicle. He mixed flavored soda powder with water and left it outside overnight with a stirring stick still in the cup. By morning, it had frozen into a tasty treat on a stick. That accidental invention helped inspire generations of frozen desserts. The freezer pop, as we know it today, developed later. According to the history of the observance, Pop Ice created some of the earliest freezer pops. The brand was eventually acquired by Gelsert, which helped bring freezer pops to a much larger audience beginning in the 1960s. By acquiring additional brands, including Otter Pops, Gelsert eventually became the largest supplier of frozen pops in the United States. Today, freezer pops remain incredibly popular because they're affordable, easy to make, and perfect for hot weather. Brands like Otter Pops, Flavor Ice, and Pop Ice continue to be found in freezers across the country every summer. There are even some fun facts about freezer pops that many people don't know. The original popsicle was first called the Epsicle, named after its inventor, Frank Epperson. In Australia, freezer pops are often known as Super Dupers, and blue raspberry remains one of the most popular flavors worldwide. National Freezer Pop Day is more than just an excuse to enjoy a frozen snack. It's a celebration of summer memories, family gatherings, and a treat that has stayed popular across multiple generations. What is today? What if one of America's most beloved desserts started with a simple recipe created more than 300 years ago? Every year on July 9th, cookie lovers across the United States celebrate National Sugar Cookie Day, a holiday dedicated to the classic treat that has become a staple of family gatherings, holidays, bake sales, and dessert tables everywhere. Sugar cookies may look simple, but their history is surprisingly rich. According to the story behind the holiday, the first American sugar cookies were created in the 1700s by Moravian settlers, German Protestant immigrants who settled in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. These early cookies were known as Nazareth cookies and were often shaped like a keystone, a symbol associated with Pennsylvania. What made these cookies so popular was their simplicity. Traditional sugar cookies requires only a handful of ingredients, including flour, butter, eggs, sugar, vanilla, and baking powder. Yet from those basic ingredients comes a versatile dessert that can be enjoyed plain or decorated in countless ways. Over the centuries, sugar cookies became a cherished American tradition. By the 1930s, it had become popular for children to leave sugar cookies out for Santa Claus on Christmas Eve as a thank you for the gifts they hoped to receive. That holiday tradition continues in many homes today. The popularity of sugar cookies has only grown. In 2001, the Nazareth sugar cookie was officially named the State Cookie of Pennsylvania, honoring the dessert's historical roots in the Commonwealth. One reason sugar cookies have remained so popular is their versatility. Some people enjoy them plain and buttery, while others turn them into edible works of art. Frosting, sprinkles, colored icing, chocolate chips, and seasonal decorations allow bakers to customize sugar cookies for nearly any occasion. Valentine's Day hearts, Halloween pumpkins, Easter eggs, and Christmas trees are just a few examples of how these cookies transform throughout the year. National Sugar Cookie Day is also the perfect excuse to get creative in the kitchen. Many people celebrate by baking homemade cookies, hosting cookie exchanges, decorating cookies with family and friends, or incorporating sugar cookies into other desserts, such as cheesecakes, ice cream treats, and layered desserts. The cookie has even earned a place in the record books. In 2015, Pillsbury set a world record by decorating 1,169 sugar cookies in 1 hour, demonstrating just how popular these sweet treats remain. Perhaps the best thing about sugar cookies is the memories they create. Whether you're helping a child decorate their first cookie, baking with grandparents using a family recipe, or enjoying a fresh batch during the holidays, sugar cookies often become part of life's special memories. What is today? What drink instantly makes you think of palm trees, sandy beaches, and a tropical getaway? For millions of people, the answer is the piña colada. Smooth, creamy, and packed with pineapple and coconut flavor, this iconic beverage has become one of the world's most recognizable tropical drinks. That's why every year on July 10th, people celebrate National Piña Colada Day. National Piña Colada Day honors a drink that has become synonymous with summer vacations and island relaxation. Traditionally made with rum, pineapple juice, cream of coconut, and ice, the piña colada delivers a sweet tropical flavor that has remained popular for decades. Non-alcoholic versions, often called virgin piña coladas, are also enjoyed by people of all ages. The story of the piña colada begins in Puerto Rico, where the drink is widely believed to have been created. The most famous origin story centers on Ramon Manchito Marrero, a bartender at the Carib Hilton in San Juan. According to the legend, Marrero was tasked with creating a signature cocktail that captured the spirit of Puerto Rico. On August 16th of 1954, he reportedly introduced the piña colada to the world. However, like many famous inventions, the drink's origins are debated. Another claim comes from Barachino restaurant in Puerto Rico, which says its bartender, Ramon Portes Migat, created the beverage in 1963. Despite the competing stories, Puerto Rico remains closely connected to the drink's history and identity. The piña colada became such an important part of Puerto Rican culture that in 1978 it was officially declared the national drink of Puerto Rico. That designation helped cement its place as one of the world's most beloved tropical beverages. One essential ingredient in an authentic piña colada is cream of coconut, which was developed by the Puerto Rican brand Coca Lopez in 1948. This ingredient gives the drink its signature creamy texture and rich coconut flavor. Combined with pineapple juice and rum, it creates the smooth taste that made the cocktail famous worldwide. The drink's popularity has spread far beyond Puerto Rico. Today, piña coladas can be found at resorts, restaurants, cruise ships, and beach destinations around the globe. It consistently ranks among the most popular cocktails in the world and has become a symbol of relaxation and tropical fun. The piña colada has even become part of pop culture. Many people instantly recognize the famous song, Escape, the Piña Colada song by Rupert Holmes, which helped make the drink even more famous during the late 1970s. National Piña Colada Day is typically celebrated by enjoying the classic drink, trying new variations, or learning more about Puerto Rico's rich culinary traditions. For those who prefer not to drink alcohol, the non-alcoholic version offers the same tropical flavors without the rum. What is today? What's the first food that comes to mind when you think of a state fair? Maybe it's a corn dog, maybe it's a funnel cake covered in powdered sugar, or perhaps it's one of those deep-fried creations that sounds impossible but somehow tastes amazing. Every year on July 11th, Americans celebrate National State Fair Food Day, a holiday dedicated to the delicious, creative, and often outrageous foods that have become a beloved part of the state fair experience. State fairs have long been a summertime tradition across the United States. They bring together agriculture, entertainment, rides, games, competitions, and of course, food. For many visitors, the food is the main attraction, offering a chance to enjoy treats that are difficult to find anywhere else. The history of state fairs goes back nearly 2 centuries. The first state fair in the United States was held in Syracuse, New York in 1841. These early fairs were originally designed to showcase agriculture, livestock, crops, and farming innovations. They gave farmers an opportunity to display their work and exchange ideas with others in the agricultural community. As American society changed from primarily agriculture to more industrial, state fairs evolved as well. Over time, fairs added amusement rides, concerts, games, exhibitions, and food vendors. What started as agricultural showcases gradually became some of the largest annual events in many states. And with larger crowds came bigger and more creative food offerings. Today, state fair food is famous for its variety of imagination. Popular favorites include corn dogs, funnel cakes, cakes, cotton candy, turkey legs, deep-fried cookies, cheese on a stick, and lemonade. Many fairs also feature unique inventions that push culinary creativity to the limit, with foods being deep-fried, covered in toppings, or served in unexpected ways. One person whose legacy is closely connected to fair food is Charles Speltman, a German immigrant credited with helping popularize the hot dog in America. In 1867, he began selling hot sausages on rolls from a pushcart on Coney Island. His simple idea helped create one of the most recognizable foods found at fairs, ballparks, and festivals today. National State Fair Day itself was first celebrated on July 11th of 2022 after being sponsored by Food Service Direct. The observance was created to recognize the foods that have become a central part of the state fair tradition and to encourage people to enjoy their favorite fair treats, whether at a fairground or at home. One reason fair food remains so popular is that it combines nostalgia with excitement. Families return year after year to enjoy familiar favorites while vendors compete to create the next must-try food sensation. A visit to a state fair is often about making memories, and those memories frequently include a favorite snack shared with friends and family. There are more than 100 state and provincial fairs held annually throughout the United States and Canada, attracting millions of visitors each year. No matter where you go, food remains one of the most anticipated parts of the experience. What is today? Have you ever stopped to think about the paper bag? It's something most of us use without a second thought when grocery shopping, carrying lunches, or wrapping gifts. But this simple invention has a fascinating history and continues to play an important role in sustainability today. Every year on July 12th, we celebrate Paper Bag Day, a day dedicated to recognizing the paper bag, an environmentally friendly alternative to plastic, and appreciating the inventors who helped create the modern design we use today. The story begins in 1852 when American inventor Francis Wool patented the first machine capable of mass-producing paper bags. His invention made paper bags affordable and widely available, revolutionizing packaging and retail. But the paper bag we know today wasn't perfected overnight. In 1871, inventor Margaret E. Knight created a machine that produced flat-bottom paper bags. This design allowed bags to stand upright and carry more items, making them far more practical for stores and shoppers. Because of her groundbreaking innovation, she became known as the mother of the grocery bag. The paper bag continued to evolve. In 1883, Charles Stillwell added pleated sides that made bags easier to fold and store. Then in 1912, Walter Dobinier reinforced paper bags and added handles, helping create the modern shopping bag we're familiar with today. So why are paper bags still important? One major reason is sustainability. Paper bags are recyclable and biodegradable, meaning they can break down naturally over time and can often be recycled into new paper products. They can even be added to compost when appropriate, helping reduce waste. Paper bags also have a surprising number of uses beyond carrying groceries. Need to wrap a gift? A paper bag can be transformed into elegant gift wrap. Looking to compost? Shredded paper bags make excellent brown material for compost piles. You can even use paper bags to help ripen fruit like bananas and avocados more quickly. And of course, they're a favorite material for arts and crafts projects. The next time someone hands you a paper bag, remember that you're holding a piece of innovation that has been evolving for more than 170 years, and a simple invention that continues to make a difference today. What is today? Have you ever found yourself drifting off into a daydream while staring out a window? Maybe you've imagined living on a tropical island, winning the lottery, traveling the world, or writing the next great novel. If so, you're not alone, and there's actually a day dedicated to celebrating that kind of imaginative escape. Every year on July 13th, people observe Fool's Paradise Day, a lighthearted holiday that encourages us to step away from life's demands and spend some time enjoying our imagination. But what exactly is a fool's paradise? Traditionally, the phrase refers to a state of happiness based on unrealistic expectations or false beliefs. For centuries, it was often used as a warning against becoming too comfortable in an illusion. The term dates back hundreds of years and even appeared in early English writings before being popularized by William Shakespeare. Over time, however, the meaning evolved. Today, Fool's Paradise Day is less about warning people and more about encouraging healthy imagination, creative thinking, and taking a break from the everyday pressures of life. Many people view the day as an opportunity to dream, create, and temporarily escape into a world of possibilities. In a world filled with deadlines, schedules, and constant notifications, taking time to let your mind wander can actually be refreshing. The holiday reminds us that imagination can be valuable. A daydream can spark a new idea, inspire creativity, or simply provide a mental reset when life feels overwhelming. Supporters of the holiday see it as a chance to embrace playfulness and recognize that not every moment has to be productive. So how can you celebrate Fool's Paradise Day? One of the easiest ways is to simply allow yourself time to daydream. Find a quiet place, relax, and let your imagination take over for a while. You could also dive into a fantasy novel, watch an escapist movie, listen to music, paint, draw, write a story, or pursue any hobby that transports you somewhere beyond your daily routine. Another way to celebrate is by creating your own version of paradise. What would your perfect day look like? Where would you go? What would you do? Sometimes simply imagining those possibilities can brighten your mood and inspire future goals. Of course, Fool's Paradise Day isn't about ignoring reality forever. Instead, it's about recognizing the value of creativity, optimism, and giving yourself permission to take a mental break. Even a few moments of imaginative thinking can help relieve stress and restore your sense of wonder. So this July 13th, take a few minutes to dream a little. Read that fantasy book you've been putting off, sketch an impossible invention, imagine your ideal vacation, or simply sit back and let your mind wander wherever it wants to go. After all, sometimes the best escape doesn't require a plane ticket, just requires a little imagination. What is today? What comes to mind when you hear the word shark? For many people, it's scenes from movies, dramatic headlines, or the image of a giant fin cutting through the water. But sharks are far more than fearsome predators. In fact, they're among the most important animals in the ocean. That's why every year on July 14th, people around the world observe Shark Awareness Day, a day dedicated to learning about sharks, their role in marine ecosystems, and the challenges they face in the wild. Sharks have been swimming in Earth's oceans for hundreds of millions of years, long before dinosaurs appeared on land. Over that time, they evolved into a wide variety of species, from the enormous whale shark, which feeds mainly on plankton, to the fast and powerful great white shark. One of the biggest goals of Shark Awareness Day is to correct misconceptions. Despite their reputation, sharks are not mindless killing machines. Most species pose little or no threat to humans, and shark attacks are extremely rare. In reality, sharks play a critical role in maintaining healthy ocean ecosystems. As apex predators, many shark species sit at the top of the marine food chain. By helping control populations of fish and other marine animals, they contribute to the balance and health of ocean environments. When shark populations decline, entire ecosystems can be affected through a chain reaction known as trophic cascade. Unfortunately, sharks face numerous threats. Overfishing, habitat destruction, climate change, and the shark fin trade has caused significant declines in shark populations around the world. Conservation groups estimate that more than 100 million sharks are killed each year, and many species are now threatened with extinction. That's why Shark Awareness Day is so important. The day encourages people to learn the facts about sharks, support conservation efforts, and replace fear with understanding. Organizations around the world use the occasion to educate the public about shark biology, research, and protection programs. So how can you celebrate Shark Awareness Day? A great place to start is by learning more about these incredible animals. Watch a documentary, visit an aquarium, read about the different shark species, or follow a reputable shark conservation organization. You can also make environmentally responsible choices. Supporting sustainable seafood practices and learning about ocean conservation can help protect marine ecosystems that sharks depend on. And perhaps most importantly, share accurate information. Every conversation that helps dispel myths about sharks contributes to greater public understanding and support for their protection. The next time you think of sharks, remember they are not just predators. They are vital guardians of ocean health. Their survival of many marine ecosystems depends on them, and their future depends on us. What is today? When you think of comfort food desserts, what comes to mind? Maybe it's ice cream, chocolate pudding, or a slice of pie, but for generations of dessert lovers, one creamy treat has remained a favorite: tapioca pudding. Every year on July 15th, we celebrate National Tapioca Pudding Day, a holiday dedicated to this classic dessert made with tapioca, pearls, milk, and sugar. It's a nostalgic dish that has been enjoyed by families around the world for decades. But what exactly is tapioca? Tapioca is a starch that comes from the cassava root, a plant native to South America. The starch is processed into small pearls that become soft and translucent when cooked. These pearls give tapioca pudding its distinctive texture and appearance. The origins of tapioca can be traced back to Brazil, where indigenous peoples first discovered how to process cassava and use it in a variety of foods. Over time, tapioca spread around the world and became a popular ingredient in both sweet and savory dishes. Today, tapioca pudding is especially well known as a comfort dessert. The traditional recipe combines tapioca pearls with milk, sugar, and often eggs, creating a rich, creamy pudding that's served either warm or chilled. The result is a simple dessert with a unique texture that people tend to either love immediately or grow to appreciate over time. One of the reasons tapioca pudding has remained popular is its versatility. While the classic version is still beloved, many variations have appeared over the years. Some recipes include coconut milk for a tropical twist, while others add chocolate, vanilla, cinnamon, or fresh fruit. In many parts of Asia, tapioca pearls are also used in popular beverages and desserts, such as bubble tea. There are also some nutritional advantages to tapioca. The tapioca pearls are naturally gluten-free, making them an option for people with gluten sensitivities or celiac disease. At the same time, like many desserts, tapioca pudding is best enjoyed in moderation because it can contain significant amounts of sugar and calories depending on the recipe. So how can you celebrate National Tapioca Pudding Day? The easiest way is to enjoy a bowl of tapioca pudding. You can make a homemade batch from scratch, try a family recipe, experiment with new flavors, or simply pick up a ready-made version from your local grocery store. If you've never tried tapioca pudding before, National Tapioca Pudding Day is the perfect excuse to give it a chance. The unique texture and creamy sweetness have made it a favorite dessert for generations. Whether you enjoy it warm, cold, homemade, or store-bought, this classic dessert continues to remind us that sometimes the simplest treats are the most comforting. What is today? When most people think of spinach, one famous cartoon character usually comes to mind. For generations, Popeye made spinach famous as the food that gave him incredible strength, but while spinach may not instantly turn you into a superhero, it truly is one of the most nutritious vegetables you can eat. That's why every year on July 16th, people celebrate Fresh Spinach Day, a holiday dedicated to this versatile leafy green and the many healthy benefits it provides. Spinach has a surprisingly long history. It is believed to have originated in ancient Persia, in what is now modern-day Iran. Over centuries, it's spread through trade routes into India, China, and eventually Europe, becoming a staple ingredient in cuisines around the world. Today, spinach is enjoyed in everything from salads and sandwiches to soups, smoothies, omelets, and pasta dishes. One reason spinach is so popular is its impressive nutritional value. It is packed with vitamins and minerals, including vitamins A, C, and K, as well as folate, magnesium, potassium, and iron. Despite being loaded with nutrients, spinach is also very low in calories, making it a favorite among people looking for healthy food choices. Spinach is often referred to as a superfood because it contains antioxidants and helps protect the body's cells. It also contains compounds that support eye health and may contribute to overall wellness when included as part of a balanced diet. Another great thing about spinach is its versatility. Fresh spinach can be eaten raw in salads, blended into smoothies, added to sandwiches, or used as a topping on pizzas and wraps. It can also be cooked into soups, quiches, casseroles, pasta, sauces, and stir-fries. Because its flavor is relatively mild, spinach pairs well with a wide variety of foods and can easily be incorporated into meals without overpowering other ingredients. Fresh Spinach Day is also a great opportunity to support local farmers and farmers markets. During the growing season, fresh spinach is often readily available and can be a delicious addition to healthy meals. So how can you celebrate Fresh Spinach Day? Start your morning with a spinach smoothie. Add fresh spinach to a sandwich or salad for lunch. try a new spinach-based recipe for dinner, or visit your local grocery store or farmer's market and pick up a fresh bundle to experiment within the kitchen. Even if spinach isn't currently your favorite vegetable, this holiday is the perfect excuse to give it another try. You might be surprised by just how many delicious ways there are to enjoy it. On July 16th, take a moment to appreciate this humble leafy green that has traveled the world, nourished generations, and earned its reputation as one of the healthiest vegetables on the planet. What is today? Tattoos are everywhere today, from small symbols hidden on a wrist to full-body masterpieces that take years to complete. Tattoos have become one of the most popular forms of personal expression in the world. That's why every year on July 17th, people celebrate National Tattoo Day, a holiday dedicated to the art, history, culture, and creativity behind tattooing. For many people, a tattoo is much more than ink on skin. It can represent a memory, a milestone, a loved one, a belief, or a personal journey. Every tattoo tells a story, and no two stories are exactly alike. What many people don't realize is that tattooing is far from a modern trend. In fact, tattoos have existed for thousands of years. One of the oldest known examples comes from Otzi the Iceman, a naturally preserved mummy discovered in the Alps. Scientists estimate that he lived more than 5,000 years ago and had dozens of tattoos on his body. Ancient Egyptians also practiced tattooing, while cultures throughout Polynesia developed highly detailed tattoo traditions that carried deep cultural and spiritual significance. In many societies, tattoos represented family heritage, social status, achievements, or important life events. In Japan, tattoo art evolved into elaborate designs featuring mythology, animals, and nature. Indigenous cultures around the world developed their own tattooing traditions, each with unique meanings and techniques. As tattooing spread across cultures and continents, it continued to evolve. The modern tattoo industry began to grow significantly with the invention of the electric tattoo machine in the late 19th century. This innovation allowed artists to create more detailed designs while making the process faster and more accessible. Today, tattooing is recognized as a respected art form practiced by talented artists around the globe. Modern tattoos come in countless styles. Traditional American tattoos feature bold lines and classic imagery like anchors, roses, and eagles. Realism aims to create lifelike portraits and scenes. Watercolor tattoos imitate the look of painted artwork, while geometric and minimalist designs have become increasingly popular in recent years. National Tattoo Day encourages people to appreciate not only the tattoos themselves, but also the artists who create them. Tattoo artists spend years developing their skills, mastering techniques, understanding design principles, and learning how to safely perform their craft. And if you've been considering getting your first tattoo, the holiday might be the perfect time to start researching artists and designs that reflect your personality and values. Whether you have one tattoo, dozens of tattoos, or none at all, National Tattoo Day is a chance to appreciate a form of art that has connected people across cultures for thousands of years. Because at its heart, tattooing is about storytelling, and some stories are meant to be carried with us forever. What is today? Imagine running nearly 10 miles up and down the highest mountain in Wales. Now imagine doing it at race pace against some of the best mountain runners in the world. That's exactly what competitors do every year in the International Snowdon Race, one of the most challenging and iconic mountain running events in Europe. Held annually on the third Saturday in July, the race takes place in Llanberis, Wales, and challenges runners to race from the village to the summit of Snowdon, also known by its Welsh name, Yrwydfa, and then back down again. While many running events take place on roads or flat trails, the International Snowdon Race is something entirely different. Runners face steep climbs, rocky terrain, and unpredictable mountain weather, and a demanding descent that tests both endurance and skill. The race has a rich history that dates back to 1976, when local resident Ken Jones proposed the idea to the Llanberis Carnival Committee. What began as a local challenge quickly grew into an internationally recognized mountain race that attracts elite athletes from across the United Kingdom and Europe. That first race featured only 86 competitors. Today, hundreds of runners gather each year to take on the mountain and become part of a tradition that has lasted for decades. The course is approximately 15 kilometers, or about 9.5 miles, and nearly 1,000 meters of elevation gain. Competitors climb from Llanberis all the way to the summit of Snowdon, which stands at more than 3,500 feet above sea level, before turning around for a fast and often grueling descent back to the finish line. Many runners say the climb is only half the battle. Descending the mountain at high speed requires balance, concentration, and confidence. Fatigue sets in, the terrain becomes more technical, and one wrong step can cost valuable time. Because of these challenges, the race requires participants to have prior mountain running experience. This isn't a beginner's event. It demands physical fitness, preparation, and respect for the mountain environment. Over the years, the International Snowdon Race has earned a reputation as one of the premier mountain races in Europe. Elite runners frequently compete alongside dedicated amateurs, creating an atmosphere that is both competitive and welcoming. The International Snowdon Race is more than just a competition, it's a test of endurance, determination, and the human spirit against one of Wales' most beautiful natural landmarks. Every year, runners push themselves to their limits, chasing personal bests, championship titles, or simply the satisfaction of reaching the summit and making it back down. And that's what makes the International Snowdon Race so inspiring. It's not just about finishing first. It's about accepting a challenge, facing a mountain, and discovering what you're truly capable of accomplishing. What is today? When you think of the Great Lakes, one stands above the rest in both size and reputation. Lake Superior. Known for its crystal clear waters, rugged shorelines, and incredible natural beauty, Lake Superior is the largest freshwater lake in the world by surface area. That's why every year on the third Sunday of July, people celebrate Lake Superior Day, a special occasion dedicated to appreciating and protecting this remarkable natural treasure. Lake Superior is truly massive, covering more than 31,000 square miles. The lake stretches across the United States and Canada, bordering Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Ontario. Its vast size is so impressive that many visitors describe it as feeling more like an ocean than a lake. In fact, Lake Superior contains roughly 10% of the world's surface fresh water, making it one of the planet's most important freshwater resources. But Lake Superior isn't just big, it's also beautiful. Its shoreline features towering cliffs, sandy beaches, waterfalls, forests, islands, and some of the most scenic landscapes in North America. Lake Superior is also home to a diverse ecosystem. Countless species of fish, birds, mammals, and plants depend on the lake and its surrounding habitats. The cold, clear waters create unique conditions that support wildlife and make the lake one of the cleanest of the Great Lakes. Lake Superior Day began in the early 1990s when communities around the lake wanted a dedicated day to celebrate its importance and encourage environmental stewardship. What started as a local effort grew into a larger observance shared by communities throughout the Lake Superior Basin. Today, towns and cities across the region host events that bring people together to learn about the lake and enjoy its waters. Many celebrations include beach cleanups, educational exhibits, museum programs, nature walks, paddleboarding demonstrations, kayaking events, family activities, and conservation projects. The goal is simple: help people appreciate Lake Superior while promoting efforts to protect it for future generations. The lake plays a vital role in the lives of hundreds and thousands of people. It provides drinking water, supports shipping and transportation, fuels recreational tourism, and contributes significantly to local economies. Commercial fishing and outdoor recreation industries depend on the lake, and many communities have developed strong cultural connections to its waters over generations. Despite its tremendous size, Lake Superior is not immune to challenges. Pollution, invasive species, habitat loss, and climate change all present ongoing concerns. That's one reason Lake Superior Day is so important. It reminds us that protecting freshwater resources requires ongoing attention and cooperation. Lake Superior is more than just a lake. It's a source of life, recreation, beauty, history, and inspiration for millions of people. And on Lake Superior Day, we celebrate not only what the lake provides today, but the responsibility we all share to protect it for generations to come. What is today? When you think of a vehicle show, you probably picture shiny paint, spotless chrome, and perfectly restored classics. But what if the goal wasn't to find the prettiest vehicle? What if the winner was the truck with the most dents, the most rust, and the most character? That's exactly what National Ugly Truck Contest Day is all about. Celebrated every year on July 20th, this unusual holiday honors the roughest, toughest, and most battle-scarred trucks still rolling down America's roads. Unlike traditional car shows, National Ugly Truck Contest Day isn't about perfection. It's about appreciating trucks that have spent years or even decades working hard and earning every scratch, dent, and patch of rust along the way. Many of these trucks have incredible stories to tell. They've hauled supplies to job sites, worked family farms, survived harsh winters, crossed countless miles of highway, and helped their owners complete jobs that newer vehicles might never experience. In many cases, an ugly truck is a badge of honor. A dented fender might remind an owner of a tough day on the ranch. A mismatched door might be the result of a quick repair that kept the truck running for another decade. Every imperfection tells part of the vehicle's history. The exact origins of National Ugly Truck Contest Day aren't completely documented, but ugly truck competitions began appearing online and in trucking communities during the 1990s. As truck enthusiasts shared photos of their most unusual and beat-up vehicles, the idea grew into a fun annual celebration. Today, truck owners across the country proudly show off trucks that most people would consider too old, too rusty, or too strange for a traditional vehicle show. But that's the point. This holiday celebrates character over appearance and reliability over style. Some ugly trucks feature homemade modifications, patchwork repairs, faded paint, and parts from several different vehicles. Others look like they survived decades of hard labor without ever seeing the inside of a body shop. And yet many of these trucks continue to start every morning and get the job done. For truck enthusiasts, that's something worth celebrating. National Ugly Truck Contest Day also highlights the strong sense of community among truck owners. At local gatherings and contests, people share repair stories, maintenance tips, and memories connected to their vehicles. It's common to hear owners proudly explaining how their truck reached 300,000 miles, or how they've kept it running with determination, creativity, and a few rolls of duct tape. So how can you celebrate National Ugly Truck Contest Day? If you own an old truck, give it a little attention and appreciate the years of service it's provided. You can also share photos of interesting trucks you spot, attend a local vehicle gathering, or simply enjoy hearing the stories behind these hard-working machines. Because at the end of the day, National Ugly Truck Contest Day reminds us of something important. Not everything needs to be shiny and perfect to be valuable. Sometimes the most memorable vehicles are the ones with a little rust, a few dents, and a lifetime of stories written across every panel. What is today? What if someone told you that July 21st is called Take a Monkey to Lunch Day? Sounds like one of the strangest holidays on the calendar. After all, how many people have actually taken a monkey out for lunch? As it turns out, almost nobody. But behind the playful name is a holiday dedicated to raising awareness about monkeys, apes, lemurs, and other primates, while encouraging people to learn more about the challenges these remarkable animals face. The holiday's exact origins are somewhat debated. Some accounts trace it back to artist Casey Sorrow around the year 2000, while others connect the holiday to famous Scopes monkey trial of 1925, one of the most well-known court cases in American history. The Scopes trial, officially known as the State of Tennessee versus John Thomas Scopes, was one of the most famous court cases in American history. It took place in Dayton, Tennessee in July 1925 and focused on whether a public school teacher could legally teach the theory of evolution. The trial became known as the Monkey Trial because it centered on the teaching of human evolution and was heavily sensationalized by newspapers. The nickname was intended to mock the idea that humans evolved from earlier primates. In 1925, Tennessee passed the Butler Act, a law that prohibited public school teachers from teaching any theory that denied the biblical story of creation and taught that humans evolved from lower animals. John T. Scopes, a 24-year-old high school science teacher, agreed to be charged with violating the law by teaching evolution from a state-approved biology textbook. On July 21st of 1925, John Scopes was found guilty and fined $100. Although the conviction was later overturned on a technicality, the Tennessee law remained in effect for several decades. But regardless of the beginnings of today, the holiday eventually became associated with promoting awareness of primates and supporting conservation efforts. When most people hear the word monkey, they often picture playful animals swinging through jungle trees. But monkeys are just one part of the larger primate family. Primates include monkeys, apes, lemurs, tarsiers, and humans. These animals are known for their intelligence, social behavior, problem-solving abilities, and complex communication systems. Scientists continue to study primates because they help us better understand animal behavior, evolution, and even ourselves. Unfortunately, many primate species face serious threats. Habitat destruction, illegal wildlife trafficking, climate change, and hunting have caused population declines in many parts of the world. Several monkey and ape species are considered threatened or endangered, making conservation efforts more important important than ever. Take a Monkey to Lunch Day reminds us that even unusual holidays can carry on an important message. Behind the silly name is a chance to learn about some of the most intelligent and fascinating creatures on Earth, and the responsibility we all share to help protect them. Because whether they're swinging through a rainforest canopy or living in a sanctuary, primates are an important part of our world. What is today? Every year on July 22nd, people around the world observe National Fragile X Awareness Day, a day dedicated to raising awareness about Fragile X syndrome, supporting affected families, and promoting research aimed at developing better treatments and one day a cure. But what exactly is Fragile X syndrome? Fragile X syndrome, often shortened to FXS, is a genetic condition caused by a mutation in the FMR1 gene. It is the most common inherited cause of intellectual disability and is also a leading inherited cause of autism spectrum disorder. The condition affects individuals differently. Some people experience mild symptoms, while others face more significant developmental, learning, and behavioral challenges. Common symptoms can include speech and language delays, learning disabilities, difficulty with social interactions, anxiety, attention deficits, sensory sensitivities, and developmental delays. Fragile X affects both males and females, but males often experience more severe symptoms because they have only one X chromosome. Many families first begin seeking answers when a child misses developmental milestones or experiences learning and communication difficulties. One of the goals of National Fragile X Awareness Day is to help people understand the importance of early diagnosis. The sooner Fragile X is identified, the sooner families can access therapies, educational support, and interventions that can improve quality of life and long-term outcomes. Another important aspect of this Awareness Day is supporting research. While there are treatments that can help manage symptoms, there is currently no cure for Fragile X syndrome. Researchers continue working to better understand how the condition affects the brain and how future therapies may improve the lives of those affected. The holiday itself has an important history. In the year 2000, the United States Senate officially designated July 22nd as National Fragile X Awareness Day. The observance was created to draw attention to the syndrome, encourage education, and support scientific research efforts. You may also notice the color blue being used to represent Fragile X awareness. People often wear blue clothing, display blue ribbons, or illuminate buildings and landmarks in blue to show support for individuals and families affected by the condition. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is listen to the experiences of affected individuals and their families. Awareness leads to understanding. Understanding leads to support, and support can make a tremendous difference in the lives of those navigating Fragile X syndrome every day. National Fragile X Awareness Day serves as a reminder that behind every diagnosis is a person, a family, and a community working toward a brighter future. What is today? When you hear the word grandma, what comes to mind? For some, it's homemade cookies, family traditions, and warm hugs. For others, it's a woman full of wisdom, experience, humor, and strength. But today's grandmothers often challenge old stereotypes. Many are traveling the world, starting new careers, learning new skills, staying active, and proving that age is just a number. That's exactly what National Gorgeous Grandma Day, celebrated every year on July 23rd, is all about. This unique holiday honors women who embrace life with confidence, energy, and style, whether they are actually grandmothers or simply at an age when society might consider them one. The holiday was created in 1984 by author and columnist Alice Solomon. After graduating from Wellesley College at age 50, Solomon became increasingly aware of the way society viewed women as they grew older. She noticed that many women were being dismissed or overlooked simply because of their age. Instead of accepting those stereotypes, she decided to challenge them. She created National Gorgeous Grandma Day to celebrate mature women who continue to live life boldly, confidently, and on their own terms. One of the most interesting things about the holiday is that you don't actually need grandchildren to participate. The day is meant to recognize women who have reached a certain stage of life and continue to embrace new opportunities, pursue their goals, and inspire others. In many ways, the holiday is about redefining aging. For generations, older women women were often portrayed as slowing down and stepping away from the spotlight. Today, many women are doing exactly the opposite. They're running businesses, volunteering in their communities, competing in sports, traveling, mentoring younger generations, and discovering new passions. They're proving that growing older doesn't mean becoming less vibrant. In fact, many people argue that experience brings a different kind of beauty, one built on wisdom, resilience, confidence, and perspective. National Gorgeous Grandma Day also highlights the important role grandmothers and grandmother figures play in our lives. They often serve as family historians, storytellers, teachers, caregivers, and sources of unconditional love. Many people can remember a grandmother who encouraged them, comforted them, taught them valuable lessons, or simply made them feel special. These relationships often become some of the most treasured connections in a family. So how can you celebrate National Gorgeous Grandma Day? A simple phone call can mean a lot. You might visit your grandmother, send flowers, share old family photos, write a heartfelt letter, or spend time listening to her stories and memories. If you're a grandmother yourself, celebrate your accomplishments, your experiences, and everything that makes you unique. After all, that's exactly what this day is meant to recognize. National Gorgeous Grandma Day reminds us that beauty isn't defined by age. It's found in confidence, kindness, wisdom, strength, and the ability to continue growing throughout life. And that's something worth celebrating. What is today? Every year on July 24th, Utah celebrates a holiday that many people outside the state have never heard of. It's called Pioneer Day, and for Utahns, it's almost as big as the 4th of July. The holiday commemorates the arrival of the first Mormon pioneers into the Salt Lake Valley on July 24th of 1847, after a difficult journey of more than 1,300 miles across the American frontier. Led by Brigham Young, these pioneers left their homes in the Midwest, seeking a place where they could practice their faith without persecution. After months of travel through harsh conditions, they reached the Salt Lake Valley and began building what would eventually become the state of Utah. According to tradition, after seeing the valley, Brigham Young declared, "This is the place." Those words became one of the most famous phrases in Utah history and marked the beginning of a new chapter for the settlers. The first Pioneer Day celebration took place in 1849, just 2 years after the pioneers arrived. Over time, the annual observance grew into one of Utah's most cherished traditions. Today, Pioneer Day is an official state holiday in Utah. Schools, government offices, and many businesses close as communities come together to celebrate with parades, rodeos, fireworks, concerts, family reunions, and historical reenactments. One of the biggest attractions is the Days of 47 parade in Salt Lake City. Dating back to the 19th century, the parade features colorful floats, marching bands, horse-drawn wagons, cultural performances, and historical reenactors. Thousands of spectators line the streets to watch the festivities. Another popular event is the Days of 47 Rodeo, which showcases traditional Western competitions such as bull riding, barrel racing, steer wrestling, and team roping. It's considered one of the premier rodeos in the region. Interestingly, Pioneer Day has evolved over the years. While it began as a celebration of Mormon pioneer history, many modern observances recognize the contributions of all the people who helped shape Utah, including Native American communities, immigrants, and settlers from many backgrounds. The holiday has even inspired a humorous alternative celebration known as Pie and Beer Day, where people gather to enjoy local food, drinks, and community events. It's a lighthearted tradition that has become increasingly popular in some parts of Utah. At its heart, Pioneer Day is about perseverance. The pioneers faced harsh weather, difficult terrain, limited resources, and countless uncertainties. Their journey required extraordinary determination and resilience. Whether you're celebrating the historical significance, enjoying a rodeo, watching fireworks, or simply spending time with family and friends, Pioneer Day serves as a reminder of the courage it takes to build something new and overcome challenges. It's a uniquely Utah holiday, but its themes of hope, sacrifice, and perseverance are universal. What is today? When you hear the word cowboy, what comes to mind? Maybe it's a wide-brimmed hat, a horse galloping across the prairie, or a rugged ranch hand-driving cattle across the open range. The cowboy has become one of the most recognizable symbols of American history, and every year on the 4th Saturday of July, we celebrate National Day of the Cowboy to honor the men and women who helped shape the American West. But cowboys were much more than characters we see in movies and television. The cowboy tradition traces its roots to the Spanish vaqueros, skilled horsemen and cattle herders whose techniques influenced ranching throughout the American Southwest. The classic era of the American cowboy began after the Civil War. At the time, millions of cattle roamed Texas, and there was a growing demand for beef in northern cities. Cowboys spent weeks or even months on cattle drives, guiding herds across hundreds of miles of rough terrain to railheads and markets. It was challenging work. Cowboys endured extreme weather, long days in the saddle, unpredictable river crossings, and the constant responsibility of protecting livestock. Their success depended on toughness, skill, and teamwork. Over time, cowboys became cultural icons representing independence, perseverance, honesty, and hard work. Many people associate cowboys with a code of conduct that emphasized keeping promises, respecting others, taking pride in your work, and doing what is right even when no one is watching. One important thing often overlooked in the diversity of the Old West: cowboys came from many backgrounds, including Native American, Hispanic, African American, and female cowboys whose contributions played a vital role in Western history. National Day of the Cowboy recognizes all of them. The holiday itself was established in the early 2000s through the efforts of organizations dedicated to preserving cowboy heritage. The first national recognition came in 2005, and support for the observance has continued to grow ever since. Today, communities across the country celebrate with rodeos, ranch events, museum exhibits, Western art shows, storytelling programs, and educational activities. Many people mark the occasion by wearing cowboy boots and hats, visiting Western heritage museums, attending rodeos, or watching classic Western films. And while the days of massive cattle drives may be mostly gone, modern cowboys and cowgirls continue to play an important role in ranching and agriculture throughout North America. Their commitment to caring for livestock and preserving ranching traditions help keep an important piece of history alive. National Day of the Cowboy is more than a celebration of the past. It's a tribute to the values of courage, resilience, responsibility, and determination that continue to inspire people today, because long after the cattle drives ended, the spirit of the cowboy still rides on. What is today? What would happen if people around the world set aside their differences for just one day? Differences in nationality, differences in religion, differences in culture, politics, and beliefs. That's the idea behind One Voice Day, observed each year on July 26th. It's a day dedicated to promoting peace, understanding, and unity among people everywhere. The message of One Voice Day is simple. Even though we may come from different backgrounds, we all share one planet, one future, and a common desire for peace. The origins of One Voice Day trace back to 1996, when the idea was introduced by the School of Metaphysics. The goal was to encourage people to come together by reading the Universal Peace Covenant, a statement promoting harmony, compassion, and respect for all humanity. At the heart of One Voice Day is the belief that peace begins with individuals. Many people think of peace as something negotiated between nations, but lasting peace also depends on how we treat one another in our everyday lives. It starts with kindness. It grows through understanding, and it spreads through our actions. One Voice Day reminds us that despite our differences, we have far more in common than we often realize. We all want safety, we all want opportunity, we all want our families and communities to thrive. Throughout history, countless leaders have promoted the idea of peaceful cooperations. Figures such as Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, and many others demonstrated how nonviolence, dialogue, and mutual respect can bring about meaningful change. Their examples continue to inspire people around the world. Today, One Voice Day is observed by individuals, schools, community groups, and organizations that believe in building bridges instead of barriers. One Voice Day also reminds us of the power of communication. Words can divide people, but they can also heal, encourage, and unite. A single conversation can build understanding, a simple act of kindness can strengthen a community, and millions of voices working together can create real change. Of course, achieving world peace isn't easy. Humanity continues to face challenges, including conflict, discrimination, poverty, and division. But One Voice Day encourages us to focus on solutions rather than differences. It asks us to remember that cooperation often accomplishes far more than conflict. One Voice Day reminds us that peace isn't just the responsibility of governments or world leaders. It's something that each of us can help build every day. Because when people choose understanding over division and compassion over conflict, many voices can become one powerful force for good. What is today? Have you ever wondered what makes Scotch whiskey so special? Why do enthusiasts around the world treasure bottles that have been aged for years or even decades? Every year on July 27th, whiskey lovers celebrate National Scotch Day, a holiday dedicated to one of Scotland's most famous exports and one of the world's most respected spirits. But Scotch is much more than a drink. It's a tradition, a craft, and a piece of Scottish history that stretches back hundreds of years. The earliest known written record of Scotch whiskey dates to 1494, when Scottish records documented malt being used to produce what was called aqua vita, meaning water of life. Over the centuries, distillers refined their methods, creating the Scotch whiskey we know today. So what exactly makes Scotch different from other whiskeys? To legally be called Scotch whiskey, it must be produced and aged in Scotland. It must also mature in oak casks for a minimum of 3 years and meet strict production standards designed to preserve its authenticity. One of the reasons Scotch is so fascinating is its incredible variety. Different regions of Scotland produce whiskies with distinct characteristics. The Speyside region is known for sweeter, fruit-forward flavors. Islay whiskies are famous for their smoky, peaty character. Highland whiskies often feature rich and complex flavor profiles, while lowland whiskies are typically lighter and more delicate. That means no two Scotches are exactly alike. A sip from one distillery can taste dramatically different from a sip produced just a few miles away. Part of that uniqueness comes from the local water, the grain used, the distillation process, the aging conditions, and even the barrels used for maturation. Speaking of barrels, many Scotch whiskies are aged in casks that previously held bourbon, sherry, or other spirits. These casks contribute additional flavors and aromas that help create each whiskey's distinctive character. Today, Scotch whiskey is enjoyed across the globe. More than 8 billion bottles are exported annually, making it one of Scotland's most important and recognizable products. National Scotch Day gives enthusiasts an opportunity to learn more about the drink, explore different styles, and appreciate the skill required to produce it. Some people enjoy Scotch neat, others prefer it with a splash of water to open up the aromas, and while purists often prefer traditional serving methods, Scotch also appears in classic cocktails such as the Rob Roy and the Whiskey Sour. Above all, National Scotch Day celebrates craftsmanship. Every bottle represents years of patience, expertise, and dedication from generations of Scottish distillers who have perfected their craft. Whether you're a seasoned whiskey enthusiast or simply curious about one of the world's most iconic spirits, National Scotch Day offers the perfect opportunity to raise a glass to history, tradition, and quality. What is today? Every year on July 28th, people around the world come together to observe World Hepatitis Day, a day dedicated to raising awareness about viral hepatitis and encouraging prevention, testing, and treatment. But what exactly is hepatitis? Hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver, most commonly caused by a virus. There are 5 main types of viral hepatitis, A, B, C, D, and E. While they all affect the liver, they differ in how they spread, how severe they can be, and how they are treated. One of the biggest challenges with hepatitis is that many people don't know they have it. In many cases, hepatitis causes few symptoms at first, allowing the disease to progress silently for years. By the time symptoms appear, serious liver damage may have already occurred. Worldwide, hundreds of millions of people are living with hepatitis B or hepatitis C, and many remain undiagnosed. Together, these infections are among the leading causes of liver cirrhosis and liver cancer. World Hepatitis Day was established to bring attention to this major public health issue and encourage people to learn their status through testing. The date, July 28th, was chosen to honor Dr. Burke Blumberg, the Nobel Prize-winning scientist who discovered the hepatitis B virus and later helped develop the first hepatitis B vaccine. The good news is that hepatitis is often preventable. Vaccines are available for hepatitis A and hepatitis B. Safe medical practices, proper sanitation, and public health education has significantly reduced transmission in many parts of the world. Modern treatments can also effectively manage hepatitis B and often cure hepatitis C. In fact, global health organizations believe that hepatitis can be eliminated as a major public health threat by the year 2030 and if testing, vaccination, prevention, and treatment efforts continue to expand. Let's take a quick look at the 5 main types of hepatitis. Hepatitis A is usually spread through contaminated food or water and often causes a short-term illness from which most people recover completely. Hepatitis B spreads through contact with infected blood or bodily fluids and can become a lifelong chronic infection if left untreated. Hepatitis C is primarily spread through blood-to-blood contact and is one of the leading causes of chronic liver disease, though it is now curable in many cases with modern medications. Hepatitis D only occurs in people who already have hepatitis B and can make the illness more severe. And hepatitis E is generally spread through contaminated water and is most common in areas with poor sanitation sanitation. Early diagnosis can prevent serious complications, improve treatment outcomes, and help stop the spread of the infection. World Hepatitis Day reminds us that while hepatitis remains a global challenge, it is also a disease that we have the tools to fight. Through education, prevention, testing, and treatment, a hepatitis-free future is possible. What is today? Have you ever bought cheese, specifically to throw it away? Probably not, but that's the unusual idea behind Cheese Sacrifice Purchase Day, celebrated every year on July 29th. Yes, that's a thing. It's one of the quirkiest food holidays on the calendar, and its origins are tied to something most people have seen at least once, a mousetrap. Traditionally, the idea was simple. You would purchase a piece of cheese and sacrifice it by placing it in a mousetrap as bait. The cheese wasn't meant to be eaten. Instead, it was offered up in the hope of catching an unwanted mouse. That's where the holiday gets its unusual name. Over time, however, Cheese Sacrifice Purchase Day evolved into something much more lighthearted. Today, most people celebrate not by baiting traps, but by appreciating one of the world's most beloved foods, cheese. In fact, modern celebrations are often less about sacrifice and more about indulgence. Many people use the day as an excuse to purchase a cheese they've never tried before. Others created elaborate cheese boards filled with different flavors and textures. Some visit local cheesemongers, support small dairy producers, or host cheese tasting parties with friends and family. The holiday may be quirky, but it also shines a spotlight on the incredible variety of cheeses available around the world. There are thousands of different types of cheese, each with its own history, flavor profile, and production method. From sharp cheddar and creamy brie to tangy goat cheese and bold blue cheese, there's a style to suit almost every taste. Cheese itself has a remarkable long history. Archaeological evidence suggests that people have been producing cheese for thousands of years. Ancient civilizations developed methods for preserving milk by turning it into cheese, creating a food that could last much longer than fresh dairy products. Over centuries, different regions developed their own unique recipes and traditions. Today, countries such as France, Italy, Switzerland, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom are famous for their iconic cheeses. If you're wondering whether mice actually prefer cheese, the answer may surprise you. Modern research suggests that mice are often more attracted to foods high in sugar, grains, or peanut butter than to cheese. So the classic image of a mouse obsessively chasing a piece of cheddar may be more fiction than fact. But despite that, the connection between mice, traps, and cheese has remained deeply rooted in popular culture. The holiday reminds us that even the most unusual celebrations can be an opportunity to appreciate everyday things we often take for granted. And let's be honest, any holiday that encourages people to enjoy cheese can't be all that bad. Cheese Sacrifice Purchase Day may have started with mousetraps, but today it has become a fun excuse to celebrate one of the world's most versatile and delicious foods. What is today? Imagine a world where books were so expensive that only a small portion of the population could afford them. For centuries, that was the reality. Books were often large, heavy, and costly to produce, putting them out of reach for many people. Then came a simple idea that would revolutionize reading forever: the paperback book. Every year on July 30th, book lovers celebrate Paperback Book Day, a holiday that honors the affordable, portable books that made literature accessible to millions. Paperback Book Day commemorates the launch of the first Penguin paperbacks in 1935. British publisher Alan Lane believed quality books shouldn't be reserved for the wealthy. He wanted readers to have access to well-written literature at affordable prices. His solution was simple but groundbreaking: produce high-quality books with soft covers that were inexpensive, easy to carry, and available to everyone. The idea was an immediate success. Within the first year, millions of paperback books were sold, transforming the publishing industry and changing the way people read. For the first time, readers could easily carry books in a coat pocket, purse, backpack, or suitcase. Commuters could read on trains, travelers could take books on long journeys, students could build personal libraries without spending a fortune. Paperback books helped democratize reading. They made literature more accessible to people from all walks of life. From classic novels and biographies to mystery, science fiction, and self-help books, paperbacks opened the door to countless stories stories and ideas. Even today, despite the popularity of ebooks and audiobooks, paperback books continue to hold a special place in the hearts of readers. There's something unique about holding a physical book, the feel of the pages, the artwork on the cover, the satisfying sound of turning a page, and for many readers, even the familiar scent of a well-loved book adds to the experience. Paperback Book Day is also a celebration of bookstores and libraries. These institutions have helped generations of readers discover new authors, explore different perspectives, and develop a lifelong love of learning. A single paperback can introduce us to distant places, fascinating people, and ideas we may never have encountered otherwise. Books allow us to travel without leaving home. They help us understand history, science, culture, and ourselves. That's a powerful legacy for something as simple as paper, ink, and a good story. No matter how you celebrate, Paperback Book Day is a reminder of how one publishing innovation helped to bring the joy of reading to millions of people around the world. Because sometimes the most powerful adventures don't require a passport. All you need is a good paperback book. What is today? What does it mean to be gnarly? If you grew up around surfers or skateboarders, you've probably heard the word before. Originally, gnarly described something difficult, extreme, or challenging. Over time, it evolved into a slang term for something exciting, adventurous, and unforgettable. That's exactly what National Get Gnarly Day is all about. Celebrated on the last Friday of July, this unique holiday encourages people to step outside their comfort zones, try something new, and embrace life's adventures. Unlike many holidays that focus on a specific person, event, or tradition, National Get Gnarly Day is all about personal growth. It's an invitation to challenge yourself, to take that first step, and do something you've always wanted to try. The holiday began in 2016 and was inspired by a campaign created by Whirlpool Corporation. The idea was simple: encourage people to push beyond limitations, take on challenges, and strive for goals they may have thought were out of reach. But don't worry, getting gnarly doesn't mean you have to jump out of an airplane or climb a mountain. For some people, it might mean trying a new sport. For others, it could mean speaking in public, learning a new skill, starting a business, or simply doing something they've been afraid to attempt. The real purpose of the day is growth. Think about it. Most of us spend a lot of time in our comfort zones because they're familiar and safe. But personal growth rarely happens when we're doing the same things over and over again. Some of life's most rewarding experiences begin with uncertainty. Learning to surf, traveling somewhere new, trying a challenging hobby, make a new friend, applying for a dream job. Every one of those experiences requires a little courage. National Get Gnarly Day reminds us that being uncomfortable isn't always a bad thing. In fact, it often means we're learning, improving, and becoming stronger. The holiday also celebrates a positive attitude toward life. Rather than focusing on obstacles, it encourages people to focus on possibilities. Instead of asking, what if I fail? It asks, what if I succeed? And even if things don't go perfectly, trying something new often teaches valuable lessons along the way. National Get Gnarly Day reminds us that life becomes more exciting when we're willing to take positive risks and explore new possibilities. Sometimes the greatest adventures begin with a simple decision to try.